I will be reading to you A Dark Was the Night, the story of Blind Willie Johnson's Journey to the Star by Gary Golio and illustrated by eBay Lewis. Even in the darkest of outer space, there is light. In 1977, a space probe to a rocket is shot into space, Voyager 1, bearing a precious golden record, a message to the universe from planet Earth, with pictures of people, children, snowflakes, and sky, with sounds of thunder, crickets, whales, and the wind, with music of the Navajo chants, Peruvian panpipes, West African drums, Beethoven, and even Chuck Berry, and one ghostly song about loneliness and the night. A musician playing his guitar and bumming a tune of light and hope to whoever might be listening, a human being reaching out to the stars, a blind man named Willie Johnson. In 1897, you were born in the light, Willie Johnson, on a January day in a small Texas town. As a boy, you loved to sing, so your father made a cigar box guitar, and you learned to play. But then your mama died, and some light went out of your life. At 7 or 8, you were blind. That's when things got darker still. So how does a blind boy get along? How does he make his way in the world? Being blind didn't stop a person from singing in church or on street corners. Besides, this was a way to use your words and your voice to lift people up. Now you were back in the light. Used your singing voice the way a preacher would, sometimes loud and rough, sometimes soft and tender. After all, there was sadness in the world, but also joy. You sang gospel songs like they were blues, which weren't allowed in church, and you took the blade of a pocket knife, ran it along the steel strings of your guitar to play what was called slide. This made a sound like someone laughing or crying, as if the guitar had a voice of its own. Now, Texas is a big place, so you traveled from one town to another the easiest way a blind man could, by train. Marlin, Temple, Herring, Burnham, Beaumont, that's how you saw the world. On Saturdays, cotton farmers came into town to mingle and buy food. Out on the street, you'd stand tall in your jacket and tie, singing in a rough and tender voice as you slid your pocketknife along the strings. Your raspy growling was soothed by the sweet words, calling everyone to live a good life. In return, people put coins in your tin cup so you could eat and have a place to sleep that night. Town to town, corner to corner, church to church, you kept getting better at what you did. People came to know your name. Then a man from a music company heard you sing. You were given the chance to make a record, something people could buy and listen to on their home phonographs. In a dark, quiet room, your voice poured into a microphone, slid along some wires, and scratched itself into a wax disc. The record caught your breathing, singing and moving your knife along those steel strings. It was the sound of one human being reaching out to all the others. telling them not to be afraid of the dark. After all, if a blind man could see the light, your first record sold thousands of copies and was played on the radio. Ads in the newspaper said your singing and guitar playing that there was nothing like it anywhere else. One of your songs, Dark Was the Night, is just you playing slide, humming and moaning. It was a ray of light that touched people deep in their souls. Suddenly, you were a shining star. With the sun glinting off your pocket knife, you kept spreading the light. Time passed, yet after you died, your voice echoed down through the years. It even found its way onto a golden disc, sent into space, where it shined a light in the darkness and finally touched the stars. The mystery of Blind Willie Johnson. Music lovers have known about Willie Johnson's music since his records first came out in 1928. What we didn't know much but was Willie himself. But since his death in 1945, writers, historians, and admirers of his work have been tirelessly researching his life. This has meant digging through birth and death records in a town and country courthouse, looking through microfilm photographs of old newspapers, and talking to people who knew or were related to the man himself. Not surprisingly, with ongoing research like this, each new bit of information sparks still more questions, leading devout music lovers in ever new directions. It is exciting to imagine that details of Willie's life will be discovered in the years to come. For now, Dark Was the Night is based on the facts as we know them, but it's the simple beauty of Willie's playing and the magic he creates with his voice that are most important. His song, Dark Was the Night, reminds us that we're not alone, even the immense universe, because we're tightly connected by what we feel at one time or another: loneliness, love, sadness, and hope. So you should listen to Willie's song that song yourself by finding a record of his music either in the library or online. It's haunting and unforgettable, and may even make you less afraid of the dark. Golden Record. In 1977, NASA made a time capsule of sorts called the Golden Record to send out into space aboard Voyager 1. It was meant to portray the diversity of life on Earth and to promote peace. When scientist and astronomer Carl Sagan chose the sound for the record, he asked renowned music historian Alan Lomax to help him. Lomax added songs and music from cultures all over the world, including Navajo Indian chants, jazz (Louis Armstrong), and rock and roll (Chuck Berry). His goal was to give the biggest picture of human-made sounds and the feelings they expressed. For that reason, Willie Johnson's wordless song "Dark Was the Night" was included, right next to a string quartet by Beethoven. Lomax believed that Johnson's powerful convey the sense of loneliness that all people feel, something very important to know about human beings and life on planet Earth. And who is the Golden Record meant for? The U.S. President at the time, Jimmy Carter, said this was his introduction. We cast this message into the cosmos. Of the 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, some, perhaps many, may have inhabited planets and space-farming civilizations. If one such civilization intercepts Voyager and can understand these record contents, here is our message. This is a present from a small distant world, a token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts, and our feelings. This record represents our hope and our determination and our goodwill in a vast and awesome universe. On August 25th, 2012, Voyager 1 traveled through space at 38,000 miles per hour, became the first human-made object to leave our solar system and journey so far from Earth. On its on it is the song of a blind man, someone who knew both light and darkness, bearing a message of hope to the stars themselves. So this was a reading by Dark Was the Night by Golio and illustrated by E. Lewis. The life and history of blind Willie Johnson and his journey to the stars.